Joining us now is Representative Sherry Roberts. Sherry, welcome.
Thank you.
Sherry, in a previous interview with you on State of the State, you expressed your concern about sexual harassment and stalking and indicated that you plan to address this problem as a legislator. Thank you for doing so. Can you tell me a little bit about the legislation you're a part of?
Well, there are about 3 pieces of different legislation. And one of them, which I had discussed before, was I had talked about the ability of parents to be able to get a restraining order against a person, an adult person who is pursuing a minor age child. Because as it stands right now, if, say, for example, there's a adult who is pursuing a 16-year-old girl, the parent can't go and get a restraining order, which you would think otherwise, but that's not the way it is. So if you were to go into a courthouse and ask to get a restraining order, they would tell you, no, you can't do that. So I introduced a 5632, addresses that one. So.
Okay. What else do you have that would address this issue?
I also have the victim's rights, and that one is 5661. And what that does is, I guess as it stands right now, a victim of sexual assault can go into the police station, say a much longer time later, and try to press charges, and really, I guess it's up to the police if they find enough evidence whether they want to pursue those charges or not. With this victim's rights bill, it would make it so that it's mandatory for the police to follow up with that, the charges, pressing charges for that victim.
Okay. Now, what do you hope that the outcome of this legislation will be?
I'm hoping it's passed, of course.
That's step one.
Yes. Well, in the piece about the Child Protective Order, that's so the parents can have the choice rather than the child, because see, what happens is, in that piece of legislation, they will tell you at the courthouse, the minor child is of consenting age, therefore, the only way you're going to be able to get a restraining order is if that child decides themselves to file the paperwork and request that. But what this will do is it takes it out of the hands of the child and the judge and puts it back into the parent's hands.
Now, what is the age of consent?
16.
It's 16.
Correct.
You said that there was 3 pieces of legislation that you had that would address this issue. You mentioned 2. What's the third?
Okay, the third one has to do with pandering and commercial sexual activity, which would mean if this gets passed and the police suspect that business owners, like in motels or whatever, know that there's activity, like prostitution or trafficking of minors, and they allow it to happen anyway, and the police suspect that's what's going on, that these business owners are knowledgeable of that, this will give them a chance to prosecute those people as well.
What about this particular cause draws you in so much?
First of all, it's a $400 billion industry, sex trafficking right now, and we have sex trafficking going from from Massachusetts through Rhode Island into Connecticut into New York, and we're hearing a lot about this. They say there's more money off that than even drugs right now in Rhode Island.
Wow, so this is a really big issue for Rhode Island right now.
This is a big concern. A lot of people have expressed concern over this, yes.
There's a loophole from 1980 until 2009 in which prostitution was legal as long as it was done indoors. So street prostitution was illegal, but anything that was done inside a building was legal. And I'm wondering if you think that particular so-called accidental loophole has something to do with Rhode Island being such a hub of this kind of activity.
It probably, I would think it would contribute to it, yes.
Well, thank you